Why is it every time I film, before or after, regardless, my room is always a mess? Howdy everybody, it's Kaleidos. Today we're going to have a first impression / review of the new Kaleidos escape kit. This is an actual suitcase. And when you turn it around, there's the entire collection. Let me open it. It does come with a little key. And you open it up, there it is. You have 2 sponges, a lip gloss, an eye primer, 2 dual blushes, 4 highlighters. Of course, I've already had my base done. This is a first impression. I will mainly focus on the eyeshadow palette and one of the dual blushes. And of course, I'll have to try out one of the highlighters. Try to do a 3 looks, 1 palette video in the future as well. And talk about my overall review, actual review, after I've used these products several times. These are the sponges. It looks like a tub of ice cream. It's got a green and a purple one. The purple one is the usual teardrop shape with a cut surface. The green one is a bit more unique. It has, technically speaking, 3 flat surfaces, the back, the front, and the tip on top. The bottom is a little bit domed and rounded, not entirely flat. I believe these designs can be very convenient for cutting the contour or baking. Now obviously I've had my base done. I won't be able to try out the sponges today, but they do feel quite soft. Next we have the lip gloss. It comes in the usual pyramid shape of packaging from Kaleidos. All of their lip glosses come in a similar box. You open it up, and there's the gloss. I have to say this reminds me of something, this shade. Let me go grab it. The one at the bottom is the gloss from Jeffree Star Cosmetics in the shade Lord Star. On top is Kaleidos. Kaleidos lip gloss, at least from the tube, looks like the love child of Lord Star and Wizard's Glass. Next we have 2 lo-fi dual blushes, and they look like this. I wouldn't actually classify this as a blusher, a topper at most, because if you look closely, there's gold and purple iridescent. This is more of a highlighter for me. And this blusher also is duochrome. It is peach and purple. I don't know if you can tell on camera. As I was saying, I wouldn't classify the top 2 as blushes. Blush toppers at most, but they're highlighters to me. The 2 matte shades are very flattering. One is more of a dusty rose. The other one is dusty peach. These are the blushes. You can tell they have a lot of highlighters in this new collection. Let's start with the extension of the old futurism highlighters. Raid Rider was actually one of the old 6 highlighters, but it has been reformulated. Raid Rider is a velvety golden champagne with a trace of peach. Moon Cruiser is a rich lilac with a cool moonlit cobalt shift. Mars Melter is a peachy caramel dosed with a magenta red glow. And Diamond Dasher is a confection of cobalt, gold, and fuchsia shimmers with a dash of diamonds. And seeing that people are most curious about Diamond Dasher, I'm going to be using this today. Now the Big Daddy, the Escape Pod eyeshadow palette. And this is what the palette looks like. This is the beauty of the Escape Pod palette. This color story is actually very interesting. This bottom row, now is up but it's actually bottom because I'm flipping the palette. This bottom row is very neutral and it gives you a lot of playroom by giving you a base shade, transition, deepening, and there is a slightly lighter peachy shade, which means this palette is also useful for daily or office-friendly makeup. And the top, now the bottom row, has all the bright colors. I am fully aware of the fact that you cannot judge a palette with just one use. First impressions can't actually be categorized as reviews, but I'll keep using this and probably film another 3 looks 1 palette video if people are interested, because I just came back from work and I left all of my daily makeup items at the office. Today I have to use Kaleidos' own eyeshadow primer, and we'll see what I come up with. This is my first impression. Oh, before we do the eyeshadow, let's finish the face. And because the highlighters have quite a bit of shimmers and glitters in them, I am going to put my blushers on first. I'm going to put on the rosy blusher first. This goes well with almost everything. Let's pick up the matte shade. Don't know how pigmented that is. Let me tap off the excess and go for it. That's pretty. Not too strong. Can you even see it on camera? Maybe I should go a bit more. Maybe I should go a bit more just so you can see on camera. But in real life, this is perfectly fine already. Can you see it? Let me turn the lights down a bit. Yeah, that's nice. Now let's go into Diamond Dasher. I'm going to use Kaleidos' own highlighting brush. Let's see what we have here. Can you see the shimmery reflex? If you hate glitters in your highlighter, these are not for you. They're very glittery. You can see it. It's very subtle with the brush. Now, let me try the other side with my fingers. Okay, I've turned the lights all the way off. So even with finger application, this highlighter is still quite subtle and beautiful. There, you can see it. Nice. Let me turn the lights back on. A little bit more on the bridge of the nose. I do not highlight the tip of my nose. I'm still using the monitor. Let me get my mirror. There. Oh, much better. Again, if you don't like glitters in your highlighter, this is not for you. Oops, that's a bit too much. Is there such a thing? It has purple glitter. Definitely not a everyday highlight. Very unique highlighters. Kaleidos always does very different highlighting shades. Now let's prime the eyes with the tone activator. The primer is quite liquidy. Let's just go for it, because I know I shouldn't leave eyeshadow primers in the air for too long, they dry up. Okay, this primer does have a tint. Beware of that. You see that? It's almost the exact same shade as my skin. Which means if you have a lighter complexion than I do, this could be a problem. It is not tacky in any shape or form, which is also quite interesting. I thought, judging by the name Tone Activator, it would be one of those sticky kind of eyeshadow primer. It is not sticky at all. Now I'm going to set my right eye with this nude shade. This primer looks very smooth when it's set. And the other one that is not set is creasing already. Which tells me in the future, if I want to use this primer again, I should probably set it. Now I'm going in with this brown shade as my transition. First impression, kick up in the pan. That's okay, I don't mind that. I am going to start with the set side. Because this is transition, I can literally just lay it everywhere on top of my crease and simultaneously try to map out the shape I want my eyeshadow to go. It's very subtle. This is the set side after all. I prefer setting my eye base if I am to wear it all day. If I'm doing Instagram makeup and want extreme payoff, I will not. Okay, the side with an unset base, I'm going to tap off a lot of the excess because this side is not set and I don't want blotchiness. The thing with the technique of not setting your base is that you have to be extremely careful when you lay down transition, otherwise it will cling to a single spot. And that pigmentation is not going anywhere. Yeah, this formula is definitely not as strong pigmentation-wise as Kaleidos old formulas, but that's fine. It's building up. Yeah, I don't want it to be built up too quickly yet. This slight wash of color at the moment is okay. It's just transition. Now I'm going in with a smaller crease brush and dip into this purple. Again, kick up in the pan. Okay, tap off the excess. My habit is to always lay down the first tab on the outer corner because I want that area to be the darkest anyway, and work it in. So far, I much prefer the set side. The pigmentation on both sides are very similar, but it's so much easier to blend out on the set side. Right, now that we have the purple down, let's deepen up the crease even more. Using a pencil brush, I am going into the deepest shade of the palette, this brown. Tap off the excess, now lay it at the very outer corner, going up into my crease. Deepening the outer corner first, and when you feel like the brush doesn't have much product on, drag it in to almost the middle of the crease. Now go in with a clean crease brush and buff everything out. It looks ridiculous right now, but it's okay. Let's cut the crease. Now I normally cut my crease with Makeup Revolution's Cut Crease Canvas, but again, everything's at the office. I'm using e.l.f.'s Camel Concealer. Now because this concealer is very yellow based, I'm going to dip into the darkest green here, going straight in with my finger. Tap it on the lid. Oh! Are you seeing this? Wow. I have left the very edge of the cut crease blank because I'm going in with a different shade with a brush. Now I'm going in with this peachy shade. From the inner corner, I'll blend it in with the green a bit. Now there's one issue I've noticed with this palette. The only actual deep shade that you can create dimension with is this brown, and this is not that deep of a shade. I am dipping into this brown again to hopefully bring dimension back to the outer corner a bit more. Using a smudger brush, I'm going to use this purple again for the lower lash lines. Connecting the upper lid with the lower lash line. Now the look is starting to look cohesive. Now reinforce whichever color you think needs a bit of help. I'm bringing that peachy shimmery shade to almost the middle of the lower lash line. It's time to dip into the lightest shimmer in the palette. There's also iridescent glitter in this shade. My entire face is glittery. Let me pop some mascara on and I'll be right back. Time for the finale. Let's put on the lip gloss. I have nothing on my lips right now. Very similar shade and feel to the gloss. It's more wearable than I expected. Of course, if you layer it, you can see those purple and gold reflex. Alright, this is my first impression of the Kaleidos Escape Kit collection. Let's sum it up. The sponges, haven't used them yet, but I think they feel very nice. I doubt you could go wrong with a beauty sponge nowadays. The gloss, love it. I can't say no to a good lip gloss. Tastes a bit bitter though. Is it me? Yeah, there is a bitter taste in my mouth. I wonder if it's this lip gloss. I'll try it again next time, and if the same taste lingers. Does it taste really weird? Why is it bitter? The blushes, love them. You can't go wrong with a dusty rose and a peachy blush. Next time maybe I should try the top two as either toppers or highlighters. What do you think? Do you want me to try the other highlighters or do you want me to try these two? Which brings us to the actual highlighters. Again, Kaleidos is also famous for their unique highlighter formulas. If you're looking for something that is natural looking, maybe go for Raid Rider, but most of them are very glittery. If you don't like glitter in your highlighters, you can stay away from these. Diamond Dasher is probably the most glittery of them all at the moment. The palette, it is good. It is a very good palette. The shimmers in it actually remind me of Pat McGrath's shimmers. They are very intense. Most of them don't have a very strong pigmented base. They are more like very wet feeling toppers. If you compare this to the old futurism palettes, personally speaking, I prefer these because the metallics in the old futurism palettes are very, very strong. The mattes are more pigmented and also blendable. In the Escape Pot palette, the mattes are very toned down. They are still blendable, but it will take slightly longer to build up. Still, my biggest issue with this palette is that there's only one deep shade in there, and that brown is not actually that deep. When you want to create dimension, you want mid-tone colors and dark colors and light colors to create different depths. In here, you only have a brown. It's quite limiting, but in the old futurism palettes, you have much more variations of deeper shades. That is not saying that you can't create dimension with the Escape Pod palette. You still can with this very limited dark brown shade. That is to say, it will not be as intense as for palettes with a matte black. To put it simply, think about the matrix system by Makeup Geek. You have different colors from light to dark. These shades are very close with regard to their depth. There are still dimensions in this palette, they're just not as strong as the old ones. The matte shades I've tried in this palette are not jaw-dropping, but the shimmers are amazing. If you're curious about those glittery, wet-looking formulas and eyeshadow toppers or something of the kind, you can try this palette out. And if you like the color story, which is quite unique in itself, this is a good palette. All in all, would I recommend this collection? If you like Kaleidos' aesthetic, you will not be disappointed. With regard to the palette alone, do I recommend it? Judging from my first impression, I would say yes. Just the shimmers alone are worth the price, I think. Good blendability, they can be built up, color saturation is nice. I'll have to play around with this more. If anyone's watching, please comment down below what you want me to try from this collection. Do you want me to use one of the sponges to be specific? Or which dual blusher or a specific blush you want me to use? Or which highlighter you would love to see? If anyone's watching and you're curious, please comment down below and I'll try to incorporate that in my next video. I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!